Hello, welcome to the Dr. Muhammad Experience Conference on Children of Incarcerated Parents, looking specifically at success and resilience. We are very excited today to introduce you to one of our phenomenal interviewees during this particular national study. And we're going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself to you, but just to let you know how it's going to work, I will ask a question and the interviewee will answer the question, and all of the videos are going to be posted to the site. So you guys will have an opportunity to come back, to listen to questions and digest the information as you see fit. So thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you providing this commentary to us and sharing your narrative. The first question that we have for today is, if you could just tell viewers what your unique story is.
Yes, so my name is Jasmine Johnson. I am 26 and I am actually a special ed school teacher in middle school. My story circles around my dad, who is incarcerated. He's been incarcerated for the past 15 years. And our relationship since he's been incarcerated we've always had a great relationship, and I don't think that much has changed or shifted our relationship because he's incarcerated, but our communication is different. And obviously it would be if he was, present and things of that nature. Him and I, we speak frequently. Once I was of age and 18, I was able to go visit him alone by myself. Prior to that, my grandmother would usually take me when she could. We don't write letters that much now, but in the past we have, just being that we able to have that communication with him. He's in federal prison, so we are able to email one another. So if we want to, touch base, if he really needs me for something, he'll let me know if he can't get on the phone. But we constantly have a great communication. I think I was telling you before that the whole time he's been away, we've kind of only had one argument, and and it wasn't even around something that was really really big, but him and I, we vibe well. He's my best friend, so it's certain things that my mom doesn't know or probably never know, but that my dad knows about me, just because we have that great communication. So I would say for me, I'm not going to say obviously that, him being away has not affected me, because it definitely has. And probably the way that I communicate and interact with certain people. But at the same time, I feel like him being away has ignited something inside of me that probably wouldn't be present if he was here. Because I do think that if he was present, he would probably give more. I wouldn't have to work as hard in a sense for certain things, because he would just give. And someone asked me yesterday, well, how are you so motivated? And I kind of laughed. I'm like, what you mean? Right? Because to me, it's nothing, but I do know that my mom and my dad are part of the reason why I'm so motivated or driven to certain people. But I definitely think that his absence, so to say, definitely drives me in a way that it probably wouldn't have if he was present. Because my mom isn't gonna or coddle me in certain ways that he probably would, give into certain things that he probably would have. So overall, our relationship is, is great. It could be better, right? But to me, it's great. And, I think that a lot of people have the perception that when parents are away, they can't maintain that relationship with their child in a positive way, or they can't really parent, even disciplining and things of that nature. But it's definitely possible. We just have to break down that stigma of parents having rights in a sense when they're away, because that's what it seems like. When parents are away, they don't really have control or a say so on what happens with their children, but they do, and that's just their right as a parent. So I think that it's great for us to highlight and share our stories of our parents, our communication with our parents, because it is possible, it's doable. He's great, we're great, and
Yeah, so how are you dealing with specifically COVID and communicating with your dad?
So with COVID, he is in Virginia right now, and they've been on lockdown. So he's able, I think he's able to come out 3 times a week. And yes, they've given them free phone calls, but it's 5 minutes. So like this morning he called and he's just like, you know, we check in or whatever, but it's like so short, you know, and then he can't call me and all of my siblings all on the same day, or even email us to communicate something with us. So that has created a barrier in like really his communication for real. Even with his commissary, like, you know, me and my siblings have, you know, kind of like at this point divided up like how we're taking care of our father in a sense. And he kind of like has to order so much stuff. So it's like he needs money on his commissary so he can order so much stuff because he don't know, you know, the next time he may be getting some, you know, commissary. So that community, that has obviously created some barriers in our communication, but just making that 5 minutes really like whatever we need to talk about in that 5 minutes. If you need something, if you need me to do something, we have to talk about it in that 5 minutes because I don't know, you know, he may not call back for the next 3 days or so to say. So with COVID, you know, he and also he was in this program, like this drug program, like where is able to get time off his sentence if he participates in a program for like 9 months and is at a halt now. So he was supposed to be coming home. I want to say in the beginning of next year, like with the time being, the 9 months being taken off his sentence and all of that stuff. So now he's having a lot of anxiety because, you know, he was banking on like coming home in January or February of, you know, 2021, and that may not happen. And I think like not just him, but like everybody has been like banking on that because he's been away for so long. So that we don't know how that is going to look, you know? So I think that is giving him a lot of anxiety. I don't really like project like really how I feel on him because I already know he's dealing with that stuff, but ultimately it's giving me a lot of anxiety too because I told you before, like even, you know, him coming home and what does that look like for me? What do I need to set up? Like even him, he put me down. He put my apartment down for his address. He's like, I'm going to just put it down. Remember, I was telling you before that I was probably just, when I move out, I was just going to let him stay here. And now I'm like, okay, well, what am I supposed to, you know, I'll just hold on to the apartment? You know, I probably would, but it's just creating a lot of uncertainty, which it always will, with COVID. It's just.
Definitely. And just on, you know, that part of like your unique story, are there times and things that you do stress over? I know a lot of the times in the data, it talks about how the parent, you know, may be stressed out on the inside. And you shared a little bit about how, you know, you don't put that on him necessarily how you feel, but in dealing with having a parent in prison over time and having to deal now with a pandemic, are there other things that, you know, cause stress, you know, during incarceration?
Stress on me or stress on him?
On you.
On me? I would say like overall, and I just really reflected on this like recently, that sometimes because he's away and because we have that communication, like I do notice that I don't express to him or probably to anyone how I feel about certain things. And I don't know if it's because I don't want to project that and make him feel bad in a sense, you know, like I haven't figured out a way to process like or express how I feel. Like, you know, I'm sure I feel some type of way about like him not being present for me graduating college and him not being here for like book releases and all of that stuff. I'm internally, yes, right. I want him to see all of this. He's present because he gets to see the pictures and all that stuff, but he's really not, you know, he's not present. So I'm sure I feel things, but I've never really talked about them or like processed them because, or especially not to him, because I don't want him to feel bad. It's like I'm protecting his feelings.
Right.
So I would say like that with me just probably keeping things in, and I don't know if they'll ever come out.
Right.
I think they have like recently, like in the past year, about really just my relationships with men. And I think that like with the kind of men that I was attracting and certain things, how they related to him. But me and him didn't talk about that until I started going to therapy. You know, so And then he was like, oh no, I knew that like one day you would be able to express these things. He just didn't know when it would happen. Like he knew it was gonna come one day, but he just didn't know how it was I gonna blow up? Was I gonna, just have an open conversation with him? He didn't know.
Right.
But we have had that conversation, but not really me expressing like, I would say recently my grandmother passing away, I probably felt a type of way more. Like but I can't like, like I don't even know what I'm supposed to say to him. Because he bad enough he can't even be here to see his mom. Like what am I supposed to say? So I don't say anything then.
Right.
Because I don't know even how to process that on my own. So
Okay. Well, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing your unique story. And I'm sure that those individuals who are viewing can take a lot from that, take gems from some of the advice that you share, but also just the discussing of your own narrative. It is our hope that more children that are affected by parental incarceration own their narrative and use it as a sense of strength. So thank you for that.
no problem.